Hello friends, and welcome back to Diary of an Impulse Buyer, where I spend my money so that you don't have to. And today we have a very special package all the way from Australia full of a bunch of flower nose items that are actually discontinued and super rare. So I'm very excited. Let's get right into it. I was able to get all these discontinued items through a seller on Depop, and actually 2 of these items come from the flower nose series that a lot of people haven't even heard of. So I'm really excited about it. Starting off, everything came in this really nice box. I didn't know that they were going to give me one of the flower nose gift boxes when they sent everything. That wasn't one of the things that I bought, but just look at the details here. This is from their Moonlight Mermaid collection, which is a collection they obviously don't have anymore. So this is also a rare discontinued item. All right, I think I'm going to start out with this one. This is one of the Moonlight Mermaid lip glosses. Now, I don't really want to swatch these because these are discontinued items, but I think just doing it a little bit shouldn't hurt them too bad. So let's take a look. So here it is out of the box. It's this very pretty white crystalline bottle, and this is in the shade GE01. I'll go ahead and swatch this on my hand for you. So it's kind of like this orangey brown, almost a tea kind of color. Honestly, I'm not in love with the color. I think I've talked about how I buy flower nose mostly for the packaging, and I thought this was a really pretty bottle. The color's not my favorite, it's just okay. The packaging, however, is gorgeous. If you look at the top, you can see the embossed pattern and all the little details on the cap. So at least the packaging is really pretty. The formula feels really good, it's just not really my shade. Alright, next up we have one of the items from the Flower Nose series that a lot of people haven't heard of. It is their Flower Goddess series. I believe this did come out as a mini series, so it didn't have a full eyeshadow palette range, and it didn't come with like the full all-in box. It was just a mini series. I think it had some foundation, some powders, some lipsticks, and some blushes. And what we have right here is the lipstick. It came in these really plain white boxes. It's a little bit crinkled, but I'm mostly worried about the makeup inside, so that doesn't bother me. The pattern resembles a lot the butterfly cloud color. I've noticed, and I think a bunch of other people have, especially with the Knight's Unicorn series coming out, that Flower Nose is rehashing a lot of their old series instead of coming up with new collection ideas. So I believe the Butterfly Cloud Collar series was kind of a reiteration of the Flower Goddess, but we'll take a look and see. So this is what the lipstick looks like, and I do want to note that this is actually metal and the cap is magnetic, and I can feel like this is a very heavy cap. It has this little ribbon on top, and again, all these metal engravings in the shape of roses and little like intricate swirls down here. Opening it up, it does just twist exactly how you'd expect. If I can get the camera to focus, it has these really beautiful engravings on it. Alright, I'm going to do my best not to damage it and just swipe it the tiniest bit on my hand. The formula is really velvety and creamy. It's matte. It feels very similar to their Little Angel series lipstick. The color is plum tea, but honestly, I've never seen this before, and I don't know what other colors they have, so I don't know how useful that information is going to be. It's kind of like this rusty orangish red. It's really pretty, and I really like the formula, but I don't know how much I'll use it just because I kind of want to conserve the packaging. Next up, we have a blush from the Flower Nose Amazing Show series. This was kind of a circus theme. This is one of the staple blushes, and it's in the shade 04. So this is what it looks like out of the packaging. It has this kind of crystalline pattern and this big heart in the middle. And opening it up, this is one of the ones that has like kind of dual colors. It's a little less obvious in this one because it's just going from that light peach to a slightly darker peach, but you can see it a lot better in person. So here's a swatch of the light part and one of the darker part. In person, you can see this shade a little bit better, but it is a very, very light peach. So if you're my skin tone or any darker, it's not really going to show up on you. The second one is actually a pretty good shade. I think it's a touch too orange for me. I don't really go for orangey blushes. I tried to go more the pink red route. I will say one of my favorite things about the Amazing Show blushes is actually the embossed pattern. Like, do you see all those details there? Overall, the packaging is pretty good, the inside product is okay, and it's really the inside embossed pattern that really sells this for me. Next up, we have the Moonlight Mermaid pressed powder in shade 01. Here it is out of the packaging. It is absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I will say is that like the gold is peeling just a little bit on the tail there. I think I've seen a lot of people say that about the Moonlit Mermaid collection. Something about like this iridescent gold that they use kind of tends to flake off, but I think the jeweled colors kind of make up for that. On the inside, the pattern of the pressed powder is not the most intricate one from Flower Nose I've ever seen. The Circus collection, I believe, is older than the Moonlit Mermaid collection, so it's not like they didn't have the ability to make these really beautiful detailed embossed patterns. It might be due to the nature of this being a baked powder that they decided to go a little bit more simple on the design because even application is really important. If you flip up this panel right here, it does come with a little free powder puff, so that's super cute. Honestly, I didn't expect to be such a huge fan of the Moonlit Mermaid collection, but every time I take a new product out of the box, I kind of just like short circuit for a second because they are so stunning. Okay, next up is the two blushes I was the most excited about. These are two of the blushes from the Flower Goddess series I mentioned earlier. These are so hard to find, especially because so many people haven't heard of them, and then they are so rare that whenever they do go on sale, which is rarely, people snatch them up. But I was able to find two of them. Let's take a look. Despite being two different colors, they did both come in the same style box. This is, again, very reminiscent of the Butterfly Cloud color, but we're here to look at the blushes. I will start off with this blue shade. This holds 4 grams of product. Usually Flower Nose today, their blushes hold 5 grams, but honestly, this packaging is so pretty that I can forgive that. You can see like it has a little ribbon up here. It's not necessarily super light or like flimsy, but there's something about it that does feel a little bit cheap to me. I wonder if it's because of the design. I expected it to feel more like porcelain, so the fact that it's plastic feels a little bit like wrong, almost like it should be a thicker, colder material. But it's not like it's flimsy. Opening it up, again, that embossed pattern is a little on the simpler side, but honestly, I think that fits the kind of more simple, elegant style of this collection. Given how old this blush is probably expired, but I'll swatch it anyway. Honestly, it's a very similar color to the Circus blush. It's just a little bit on the browner side. Again, it's not really a color I could see myself using just because I don't reach for browns and oranges when it comes to blush, and it's also very close to my own skin tone, but that's not to say that it's a bad color, and the formula is actually really good. The powder's super fine and smooth and applies really nice. And we also got that same blush in the purple case. Again, exact same product, just slightly different colors. And well, oh, oopsie. It actually came with the little protective film. That's just what fell out. So the blush inside is purple, and it's a very light purple. So I don't know if I would even call this a blush. I think it's probably more of like a highlighter. I have seen purple blushes that usually work for cooler toned people or people with a much darker skin tone than me. Purple usually doesn't look great on me. It kind of makes me look a little sickly or washed out, but we'll swatch it anyway. Again, that same embossed pattern. And here's the blush. On my skin, it looks a little bit more white. Not to say that it's super bad. Don't know if I'd grab it though, number one, because this is a rare shade and I want to preserve it. And number two, it doesn't just blow me away. Again, the formula is still fine, but there's nothing making me ooh and ah about the color. Alright, last up we have 3 eyeshadow palettes from the Moonlit Mermaid series. Some of these I got because I thought the colors of the packaging were pretty, or I thought that the makeup inside had a really beautiful color story. Flower Nose can kind of fall into a rhythm of having very similar brown or pink shades in their palettes, so when they have more unique colors, I kind of get drawn in. So let's take a look at all these. I'll start off with the pink shade. Very pretty packaging. I believe this is the one with the most boring color story because it is just these browns and kind of earthy tones, but we'll swatch them on my wrist. I'm going to go down the line in terms of colors, and just so you know, this is the 02 palette. Alright, so here's what the shades look like. I swatched them a little bit uneven, sorry about that. This is the lightest color, the tan, the sparkly, the peachish, and the darker, more neutral, cold toned brown. Honestly, not a whole lot to say about this palette. It is a nice everyday palette, but it actually doesn't work that great for my skin tone. The light one shows up really well, and so does the dark one, but the dark one is too cool tone for me, and then the 2 browns / peaches are a little bit too light to really show up, and that kind of is the same for the sparkly shade. It's not bad, it's just not really great for someone of my skin tone. Time for the more fun palettes. This is palette 03. You can see like the green and pink kind of in the packaging, very pretty. And inside we have that same pink and mintish color story. So let me swatch this one. It's going to be exactly the same, just going down from the top. So this is what it looks like. I swatched it a little crooked again. I didn't mean to do that. Here is the brown shade. the kind of darker pink, the lighter pink, the green, and then the sparkly shade in between. Number one, this isn't makeup. This is just a weird shadow that the room is casting, but even in person, the pink is almost exactly the same color that I am, which is funny because I don't think of myself being cool toned, but obviously that means it's not showing up. The green is nice, but it is very translucent. Usually Flower Nose eyeshadow and other products are pretty opaque. They're very blendable, but they usually go on pretty full. These Moonlight Mermaid ones seem to be a little bit more subtle right after application, which isn't my favorite, but maybe it's good for more of beginners or everyday looks, though this is bright green, so I don't know who's wearing this every day. The sparkle, again, like last time, is very subtle, so much so that you can't see it on camera. The pink seems pretty fine. I think once it got onto my face, it would be too light to see, but on my wrist, it seems pretty good, and then the brown is slightly warmer than the one in the other palette, so it'd be much better for me to use. And finally, the one I was most excited about, this is the 04 palette. This one has a really fun color range of these pinks and purples. We'll swatch it going down the line just like last time. So unlike the other two, this one actually came with two sparkly shades. So this is the light pink, the lavender, the white sparkle, the pink sparkle, and the brown. The pink one is similar to the other pink one in the palette we just swatched, where it's almost exactly the same color as my skin, but this time it's just a cooler pink, so it's like a little bit off. I don't know how great that would look, given that, again, it's my skin tone, but cool toned, so I think that might look a little weird. The purple is very vibrant. I'd have to learn what to do with it. Just on its own as a pigment though, it seems really good and bright. The two sparkles of this palette, I feel like I probably just had to have applied better than the other ones because they're showing up a lot better. They're not full-on sparkly eyeshadows. They're too translucent for that. I think you probably put them on top of other eyeshadows, but they do seem to be really good. They're not the finest of sparkle eyeshadows. They're a little bit chunky, so if that's what you're into, then these are probably really good. The last one, like in the other palettes, is a neutral brown, and it's brown. It's fine, it's versatile, nothing wrong with it. Alright, so that was the entire super rare Flower Nose haul. I am very grateful to have been able to get my hands on these super rare discontinued products. Really excited about it. Obviously, I don't endorse impulse buying or say that a shopping addiction is a good idea. I'm just here to help my fellow impulse buyers get a better idea of what is and isn't worth their money. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.